I have no idea.
It's your new name.
Yeah, I know.
At least there's like a similar
I
name
get
and
it.
last name. I apologize.
I just talked. That's true.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Holly Township Library Board regular meeting. Call to order, please, and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Brandon?
Here.
Mr. Mishler?
Here.
Ms. Kennard? Ms. Padilla?
Here, pass your phone to that.
Ms. Benedict?
Here.
Ms. Cole?
Here.
Greg Hay?
We have a quorum. So first, approval of the February 2025 regular meeting minutes. We did not have a quorum in March, so that meeting was canceled. Any questions?
I have a question.
Mhm.
For the minutes, there was a proposed motion to excuse trustee Jan Cole's absence, but mine was not listed.
And that needs to be amended. Can you make a note about that, Mr. Director?
Right now.
Thank you. Anything else? I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes with that amendment.
So moved.
Motion by Mishler,
Second?
second by Benedict. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Motion by Padilla,
Second.
second by Cole. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Public comments, both agenda and non-agenda items. Public comments are limited to the subject matter as shown above. Persons addressing the board should state their name and address and direct their comments to the president. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. Any public comments today? Yes, please.
Yes, Miriam Moore. We just are here as the support of the library, and we wondered how any federal proposed cuts might affect us here, including Melcat services.
Well, thank you for that question. We don't ordinarily do back and forth, but Greg, if you wanted to take, less than a minute, since she only took 15 seconds, but there will be no response.
Certainly. Thank you for your question. Our Secretary of State has enjoined a lawsuit against the president for his executive order along with 19 other states, and that is slowly moving through federal court. As for terms of services, we do not receive any direct federal funding. We receive indirect through the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is a program that the president has cut. The effects that I've seen so far would probably be the discontinuation of Melcat. I know, it would be a huge loss for us, since about 1 in 6 books are Melcats here at the library. I haven't talked to the board yet about options. One of our options would be to join a different cooperative that has, a Detroit cooperative that would give us a larger access to books to loan. As far as that, we would also lose our state funding, which is about $36,000. Kind of all I know about that right now. So.
Thank you, Greg. Any further public comments?
Tina Rissette, I'm the Adult Services Manager here at the library. I wanted to present something that the board, I would like the board to consider, that there are, a few staff members who do not use the library health benefits. There was talk in the past about compensation for that, and nothing had ever been decided, in light of, another consideration for some type of consideration or compensation for staff taking college courses. I think that it would be fair to have this other item discussed and addressed, so, that's it.
Thank you, Tina. I don't remember that topic coming up before, but thanks for bringing it to my attention. Greg, for next month's agenda, can you put on there to have the board consider, in lieu of health benefits, a cash payout per month? I know the DDA was offering $200 a month in lieu of health benefits, but that was to their DDA director. So I don't know if that's, an appropriate amount to offer here or not. If you could look into an amount that you would recommend being an
Yes, ma'am.
appropriate compensation, and then we'll consider that next month. Thank you, Tina. Any further public comment? Okay. Moving on, bills for payment and financials. So up to page 11, please.
Will this also cover the budget update? Or is that-
I was,
No, that's not in there, right? Or is it?
no,
Okay, I didn't think so. Any questions, comments?
I do have a question. Are we fully then over to choice one? Everything's been like routing numbers, all that stuff's good?
the only thing that hasn't changed is when we order new checks, there'll be a new routing number.
Okay, perfect.
But yes, and everything else.
And they're honoring the old
Yes.
moment, okay.
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve bills for payment and financial statements.
So moved.
Motion by Mishler.
Second.
I'm sorry, was that Cole?
Second.
Second by Cole. Roll call vote, please.
President Brandon,
Yes.
Vice President Mishler,
Yes.
Trustee Jackson, Treasurer Padilla,
Yes.
Trustee Benedict,
Yes.
and Trustee Cole.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to our presentation. Kyle, the floor is yours. Board, this is Kyle Hanning from Library Design.
Hope we can get this hooked up easy.
Here we go. Yeah, I said it's shine bright.
Thank you.
I noticed that when I was sitting there. I hope you don't mind if I stand right here next to you. No.
Can you?
Quite difficult, so be sure to project.
Okay, I certainly can do that. Dragon and silver.
Thank you, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he cut.
And the board members have a copy of the breakout price list.
Okay, everybody good? Okay, hi everybody. As mentioned, my name is Kyle Hanning. I'm with Library Design Associates in Plymouth, Michigan. And I believe it was last February I was here at that podium presenting what we do and how we can help with positive changes in the library here. Since that time, we had received a approval of a not to exceed certain design amount to renovate the interior of the building, including whatever that may be needed that the library staff had made at the top of their priority list. So over the last almost 12 months now, I think 9 months, about, we've been, Jennifer and myself, Jennifer is our designer, we've been meeting with library staff in the building, virtually, and discussing floor plan changes, furniture ideas, budgeting, and everything in between to make a positive impact within this space. So I've got a slideshow here that I'm just gonna run through and kind of update where we're at and answer questions along the way. I'm not gonna get too much into, you know, the minutia and the little detail, but I'll just go one page at a time here. So I just have 3 things to discuss here. We've got the overview, the floor plan, and a couple of renderings, and then some product ideas of what we're looking at. So with the overview, just a reminder of who we are at Library Design Associates. We've been in business since 1976. We specialize in interior renovations, interior design, and furniture procurement for the public library market. That's about 98% of our business in both Michigan and Ohio. So normally in our kind of project management interior design steps, we've got 4 of them. So step 1 being the project review and development, analysis of the current building, and the furniture, the fixtures, and equipment. So we've gone through step 1. Step 2 includes planning and preparation of scale layout drawings. You'll see a small printed version of that I've handed to you. That is not to scale. The full-size plan we do have is a 36 by 24 plan, but that's much harder to look at, so I've printed a small version for you. So that we had done by field measuring the building ourselves. There was no plan on record, so we measured every wall, every door, every window, and I think I made probably 3 trips measuring the building to get it right. This middle wall where they did the addition made it a little tough because things weren't lining up. We eventually got it to work out. Step 3 is where we kind of sit right now. That's the interior design finish selection and cost estimating. So based on the floor plan you're looking at and the budget proposal that Greg has, I believe, shared with all of you, we've quoted products. Now, a lot of the times in this stage, in order to determine where the budget sits, we use placeholders. We have not picked exact furniture pieces yet, but we use middle-of-the-road placeholders to allow for choices when that time comes, to get an idea of what all of these changes are coming in at, and then decide, is the library gonna proceed past the budget, stick within the budget, and determine what's gonna be part of phase 1, and maybe a phase 2 later down the road. Leads to the last step, which is once we do determine the scope and make all the furniture selections, we go to the furniture procurement and installation phase. So this is the floor plan you're looking at here in front of you. I'm not going to spend too much time on that unless someone wants to or has questions on some changes we've made. A couple of renderings here. These are not color renderings. I do have a color photo that I'll show you at the end, or a rendering. But this is an example of Greg's office. This is exactly what you'll see on the plan there. So updating office furniture and staff furniture was one of the top priorities for the staff in the building. It's also something that should be done in synchronization with moving and carpet replacement. Carpet replacement is also a top priority on the project. And because staff areas require so much furniture moving, that is the time that it makes the most sense to empty staff stuff, clean staff areas up, dispose, sell, donate, whatever we determine to do with the existing furniture, and replace it new. It's much harder to come back through and do that later, and it doubles up the labor cost that would be involved.
Will this include in the director's office adding a door?
It will.
Question I have.
Yeah.
It is on the next slide here.
Ah.
So if you look at the floor plan, where we've proposed Greg's office remain, where it is currently, you'll see
Okay.
there's a glass side light here and a glass door, aluminum frame, is gonna lead into there. So a locking door, of course, frosted appliques can be added later. Signage on the door can be added that says director to really make that a distinct space for Greg that he doesn't have now. So that is within the budget line for Greg's office. I believe that's item 3 on our proposal. We do also have this glass material to go in this doorway here. Because on this side, we're gonna propose the magazine shelving get modified and go against the wall. It just creates a little bit more of a barrier for patrons to get into the staff area. It creates a little bit of privacy there. So the next rendering here is the staff offices. So this is, with staff being one of the priorities, we were able to get an additional staff workspace in there. Much more fluid, much more, a lot more synchronicity in the space. Everything matches, everything lines up nicely, maximizing storage, providing staff with individual workspaces, and what I'll show you here. The nice thing is some of these partitions right there, so that you have this staff workspace, and the partitions kind of divide the staff workspaces, but they don't create this tall cubicle wall. If the workspace is only 29 inches high, that panel is gonna be about 42, so it's gonna sit up about 13 inches. So they can still communicate side by side, while also having their individual workspaces. So I'll get to the product ideas. So product ideas are just furniture ideas, what we see out there. This does not mean, we have actually not reviewed anything with Greg, Tina, or any of the staff members yet. They've given us some thoughts on what's needed, but that comes once we determine a scope of work that's gonna be agreed upon for this phase, where we'll actually loop Jennifer, our designer, back in, and we'll look at furniture that's gonna go into the building. But these are just some ideas of what's out there. So this rendering there is actually the same product. We put this in at the Briggs District Library. We did a big renovation there that just wrapped up about 45 days ago. So that's the Gen 2 office product line made in Cleveland, Ohio, which I do have quoted for this project. So a good local source, not too far. Just a simple task chair there from a manufacturer, Sit On It, which we've used for quite a long time. Now, adult furniture, and it's a tough area because you have a lot of wood in here. You have a lot of wood tones, and we try to keep within the design of the building. But what happens is when you have these wood tones, wood chairs are tough to come by these days. Less and less manufacturers make chairs like this. And if they do, they're very expensive. So we're in that middle road of trying to find something that fits within the building, but at the same time, maximize the budget. So one of the most important things is this table on the right being a flip-top table. So the top will actually flip up. It's got rocking casters. And the plan there is to provide that for the furniture in this space and within the quiet study room there. Trying to maximize the flexibility in here. Whether you have a presenter, a speaker, a boardroom, or a board presentation, board meeting here, instead of lugging these tables around every time, you easily wheel them around, nest the other ones off to the side that aren't being used, and then bring them out for the next day. Or we can specify wood tones in the top if we want to tie the wood finish into the building. Some adult lounge furniture, simple, again, ignore the colors, ignore the finishes, just examples. Could be steel feet, wood feet, nice rolled arms, more of a square shape if we wanted to go a little bit more contemporary with it. This is obviously shown in a white material. That is not what we would recommend in a space like this, so you can ignore that.
Please.
Majority of the time what we'll see is a vinyl instead of a fabric like what's on these chairs now. The vinyl is going to be much more durable, stain resistant, cleanable, antimicrobial, all the details you need. Teen furniture, so in the teen area, we've got this layout of lounge furniture back to maximize the lounge furniture in the space, providing 8 lounge chairs. So what you see against the wall there in that left side, that is just an example of it being installed against the wall. That's not the actual product. But imagine that doubled, where you can have teams sitting back to back. They can turn and face each other. They can sit side by side, allowing this unique seating space. When we were speaking with the team librarian, it was very important to maximize that space. So we had a couple of different renderings in there that ultimately led to trying to maximize and provide 8 lounge chairs. And then the laptop table on the right, a simple steel metal plate, a steel post that comes up, and then a nice sized work surface that you can have a tablet on, homework, a laptop, and it's not fixed to the furniture, so less likely to break. They have those options where it's attached to the lounge chair, but we find that if the team sits on that, now the whole chair has to go out to get repaired instead of just the table. So there's 4 of them shown in the plan for 8 seats, so it allows a mix and they can easily move them around. Children's furniture. To that corner by the fish tank, we have some modular furniture that's shown something along this line where they're getting together. A parent-child can sit, a grandchild can sit. The bottom right, we've got a fun round lounge chair from Warden, made out in Holland, Michigan. Very neat chair, comfy, can sit multiple directions. And then also, this is a low Rubik's covered storage unit for toy storage. It's one thing that was requested. There's not a lot of it in there. The toys are difficult to keep contained. This helps. Just imagine that at 6 feet tall and not 30 inches tall. So. Children's furniture. Usually in a space like that, we try to do something fun, separate it from the adult furniture. Whether they're polyplastic seats, a wood seat, polyplastic glides on the bottom of the chair legs that kind of make it whimsical and fun. Both of these products are made in Michigan. The top being MediaTek, north of Grand Rapids. The bottom being Warden, made in Holland, Michigan. So, majority of the furniture, the chairs you're sitting in now, the computer carol behind you, those were made from Warden that we provided years ago, as well as the high quality wood shelving back there, made from Warden as well. So trying to keep in that Michigan made line. We have a couple of displays in the space as well, both of these made from MediaTek north of Grand Rapids. We have 2 of the cake displays on the bottom right shown in, and then 2 of the left side display called the center stage shown as well. All being mobile for flexibility throughout the space. So that's, again, I didn't want to spend half an hour running through things, but I can answer any questions that anybody has. And again, we have not reviewed furniture, we have not picked furniture. One of the most important things, a couple of the most important things that were brought up was flooring, right? Staff furniture, and shelving upgrades to some of the older shelving in the building. And then the last one being the public tables and chairs. Those are at the top of the list. I had mentioned to the staff already that it's tough to know exactly where the budget comes in when a discussion starts very early on. Because there's a mix of new, there's a mix of existing. So until we get a plan like we're looking at here, where we start to determine what everyone agrees upon and loves, we can't necessarily nail down a budget until we get to that point. Then that budget determines, okay, where are we at, and what can we do if we want to split this into phases, if you want to do it all in one scope. And if we do split it into phases, what's the top priority to do in phase 1?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Joe, I'm sorry, you were ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just curious on the Surf Desk.
Yes.
Is there any updates being made, like, to the Surf Desk, or what are we doing with the Surf Desk?
I don't know, Nancy, but that is
which is around 20,000, and I said that
Mine was 33, so I
yeah,
get.
I was gonna say that, yeah, so that would be on the lower end.
Yeah.
And, so one of the modifications, as Greg mentioned, was, the end that return side that faces the door, removing the material from underneath there, so that a staff member can sit and face towards the doorway. The desk is gonna be moving anyways for the carpet, and we do plan to replace that vinyl that's underneath there, so you have vinyl flooring, sheet vinyl that's under the desk now, you have sheet vinyl here, you also have sheet vinyl right in that doorway there, so the plan is to remove all of that and create this continuous carpet that goes throughout the whole building, which will make it feel a little more open and less choppy. Then the desk can always be swapped later. With how costly desks are nowadays, depending on how custom we get or the material we specify, I had mentioned it takes a lot away from something else that may be needed now as a priority.
Its functionality is still there.
Yes.
What about paint? Are we looking at paint at all before we put in flooring?
that's the one other thing that this does not include on here. We'll be soliciting local painters to also maximize the budget.
What we do with that is if a local painter is hired, we would coordinate the logistics with that painter. Jennifer and I would also pull paint selections that we would recommend to Greg and the staff based on the carpet that's selected. And then pretty much come up with a paint floor plan that we would send to the painter, so that they won't have to make any of the selections. We don't wanna pick a lime green wall if it's
Right.
gonna, look out of place.
Joe?
You can give these wood chairs to anybody you'd like to give it to.
They're not comfortable?
No, they would work really good in one of those interrogation rooms.
How long did you
Because
sit?
yeah, pretty much. Cause I've been here a lot, I use these tables. And these are about as uncomfortable as you can get. So as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
if they disappeared in the next 5 seconds, I'm willing to wait a little bit.
Okay.
But just to answer your question, and if they're more expensive, or if you get something that's better, that's cheaper, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine with me.
Comfortability.
The other question I have is I'm looking over your map,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's called.
Yep.
Okay. We have 2 bathrooms. As far as I'm concerned, we don't have enough bathrooms. I don't know about the room that's on this side, but the one that's on the other side, that could almost be divided into 2 stalls, or whatever you wanna call them. I just think I don't see anything for that on this design, and I'm just sort of curious as to why. Because that, yeah, I think there needs to be something done there, so, but I don't see anything there.
They don't do architecture or plumbing, but if that is something that we wanted to do down the road, that is something that we could do separately from this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
as far as restrooms, that would be considered, with that scope, it would be considered architectural work. If you're dividing a restroom, adding plumbing, reworking plumbing, there would need to be, usually a library-specific architect that would know how to, I guess that doesn't require that for just restrooms. But that is something that could be done separately from this project, it's a separate secluded space. So we normally don't get into that. Restrooms can be very expensive. I don't know how much it would be, but I doubt it would be probably less than $50,000 to do a big renovation of that. Yeah. So everything that we've proposed is interior, cosmetic, and or furniture. No structural changes, nothing along that line. There's a couple of electrical adjustments we have to make, but very minor.
Anyone else?
I would just have one consideration to throw out there, and I don't know if this was even on the discussion table, just maybe considering one room for the staff that has a door, an interior door, so they nature, right, in that when I look at this, I'm assuming this, I think this is the bathroom that's right behind the circulation desk, that's
Yep.
not labeled, but just perhaps considering, and again, I'm not sure if it's within the budget, just having a door that can serve that purpose.
So you're saying upgrade the door, so is there a door on this staff entrance
Yes,
now? Okay, 'cause
there is.
Well, there's a door on, goes into the staff
Get into
offices and one that goes into the bathrooms, two separate.
Amber, are you recommending an exterior door for emergency exit from that room? You're just talking about like a safe room,
Yes.
if need be.
If need be for various reasons, more than likely for, let's say, tornadoes, but just throwing that out there in case that was a possibility.
So I have provided to Hamburg Township, a bulletproof door in 2019. It's the only time that we've gone to a security door. There are those options out there that are a more heavy-duty door than something that's this simple, hollow kind of plywood door. So there certainly would be an option out there that we could consider and look into if that's a determined. I guess that I would leave that up to the board and Greg to determine if that's part of the scope. It would certainly be something that we could look further into if it is.
How much was the bulletproof door?
I wanna say 15,000, 10,000, maybe, yeah, with material, labor, installation, and demo of existing sideline and everything, steel frame. It was a brand new arrangement, so, yeah. It was a part of a kind of entryway renovation that we did. Just off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember from 6 years ago.
Anyone else?
Are there any plans for the basement? Like,
Not in this scope, not in
Okay.
this scope. for us.
That is a staff project.
oh, okay.
Ongoing staff project or completed staff project?
Pretty much completed.
Okay.
We could use a little sprucing, but we, took back about half the space. We have much more storage now.
Okay.
You're welcome to go check it out whenever you
I'm gonna have to go. I do have another question, regarding, you had brought up, storage furniture for the children's area. Will that, you said it was like 6 feet tall, so I'm assuming that's for storing items for the children's librarian? But
Yes.
it's not for children's access, so will there be, accessible furniture for children to be able to get things out as they,
So
I don't know if there was a discussion about that, about changing the furniture that's in there?
So let me find the plan here. So the furniture, that toy storage is shown in here
Okay.
that I was referencing. So we can either make it locking or unlocked. That would be a discussion point that would be down the road.
Right.
Where if staff wanted to unlock it at some point in the day or not have it locked at all, where children could access it and it could be cleaned up. So it's not a separate location, a separate area. It would be right in that spot that is shown there, that's currently existing now. It would just be a way to have the toys cleaned up and off of the floor if they're having a story time. One of the biggest concerns is because during story time, the children are getting distracted by it. So to be able to clean them up and have a single point of attention, so that's what that purpose, I hope that answers.
It does. I think from an early childhood lens, I would never leave a cabinet of that size unlocked with young children.
Yep.
It would be children in the cabinet and everything out of the cabinet. So I was just thinking about lower accessible shelving where a selection of items could be out for general use, like if the children's librarian isn't here or the staff don't want to be tasked with bringing things out every day for children to use.
We could specify something without doors, that's also an option as well. I guess that would have to be a conversation that
I'm sure you guys talked to Debbie about this at length,
we,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's I can make a note and bring that up as a consideration. And ultimately, a lot of everything that you see here is guidance from the staff.
Mhm.
So, just real briefly, the next steps would be, once a scope is determined, whether it's everything that's proposed or in phase next. Once that scope is determined, we then get into the, wrapping up that phase 3, where we would come in here with carpet samples, review carpet ideas with staff, review maybe some pattern work, some colors, whether they're planks or squares. This is a raw loom, so it is a rolled product. We go away from that and go with a plank or a square. Once we make that selection and make the selection on the actual furniture products themselves, that's when we'll pull the finishes to go off of the carpet. We always work from the carpet up. Carpet sets the color throughout the building. From that carpet, we pick paint, laminates, steel, fabrics, all those things. Once all that's finalized, the orders go out, we get dates, and then we schedule around those dates. So, just a high level next step in the process.
Anyone else?
I have a question for Greg. We already approved spending so much. Do you remember what that number is off the top of your head? Is it
It was 220.
220?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're at, I think, 289 with all of this.
So really, when we add paint, we're probably looking at 300.
Yep,
I would say probably, yeah, by the time we get to that.
330 with a cert desk.
Right.
So our pricing does include all material, freight, unloading, installation, moving.
So storage, while they're like moving into something?
We would keep it in the building. It
Okay.
would all stay.
Okay, it all stays,
Yeah.
right,
So we would
okay.
move everything. The only things that staff need to move would be material that's on display or electronics.
Okay.
Outside of that, we move everything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would we need amendments to spend more?
At some point, yeah.
Okay.
But in that's one of the reasons for Greg's recommendation to phase things out in 2 phases, so it's not all in one fiscal year.
And we have added to our revenue with the increased knowledge, correct? So there is money to spend.
And we still have more in our savings.
Right. Yep.
I know that, yeah, because we only spent right around half, right? Yeah. Well, I think 30 went towards that survey, so it was 250. Yeah.
Thank you.
If that's everything, everybody,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you so much,
Thank
Kyle.
you. Thank you.
Take care.
Of course, Greg, I'll be in touch, yes. We'll keep things moving along.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Kyle has been exceptionally working.
Do we put it on the agenda to discuss this for next time, or do we continue the discussion after this?
If you have any more questions, ask them now. Joe?
I think
This
we
might
know.
help your question. He just talked about doing it in phases, but I'm not sure what the phases are. I see this,
Yeah, he's
but I
got
don't
it
know if these
listed,
are, if these are phases, then
no, he had it listed,
I
Craig,
think
where
we
is
should
that at?
just pull the
Um,
trigger and do it
huh?
all. I think we should
Still
just
have
do it
your-
all.
I do, yeah. I can answer
Okay,
it.
he's gonna bring it to us.
Yeah, I'll
I think
answer.
we should just do all of it.
So, what you see,
Not in this chunk, I think we just do it.
so what you see on the proposal, I try to break out the items for this purpose because we determined that it's gonna be above the estimated approval amount. It gives an idea of itemized costs. So the proposal are just itemized costs.
Gotcha, so
Now-
it's open for us to say, well, let's nix this, but keep that.
So yes, and I've come up with recommendations, I don't know, I think Craig may have shared that, with you, but, one set of items that would be within the possibility of phase 1, under that 220 budget, I've got a few of the items I can list them off if you wanna circle them. They're recommendations by us based on what makes sense to not do later, to do now. That'd be item 1, which would be all of the moving of the furniture and flooring throughout the building. Item 2, which would be the shelving. We're keeping the good Warden wood shelving that's back there and the children's blue shelving. but everything else is gonna be replaced. It makes sense to do that at that time when we're moving everything. It would also be item 3, the glass wall to enclose Greg's office and this glass wall right here. Item 3.1, which is all of the new staff office furniture for Greg's office and the back staff offices. Makes the most sense to do that at that time. Item 3.2, replacing all the staff task chairs at all their desks and at the circulation desk. And then item 4, which is gonna be all the public study tables and reading chairs at those tables. So that's gonna be in this space here, over by the teen space, and then also in this quiet study room. So that gets us up to, I think, just up to that 200 number. So that does not include new lounge chairs in the quiet reading room, new lounge chairs or storage in the children's, new lounge chairs in the teen. It does not include, or the displays, it does not include those items. Any of those take us over that budget.
Okay.
But those can also be done easily later, where the first items definitely should be done during the move and carpet from a difficulty standpoint.
Thank you, Kyle, and I think that there's a discussion that's about to open up and maybe an argument and a fist fight that you don't have to be a part of, so.
I just wanted to
We'll
answer
let
that. I
you
heard
go.
some conversation, so I wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Greg, I think where they're going with this is what I was starting to ask you earlier about what would happen if we just did it all at once. And I know that you were describing, a budget issue, but what if we just, would it be possible for the board to make a motion to, if they were so inclined, to approve spending more just from our savings?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The board has
Thank you.
opened the question.
And, do you feel that that would be detrimental in any way to anything?
I don't believe so, ma'am. I don't wanna put the board's decision off. Next month, I will be coming with the budget reconciliation and preliminary budget for the new year. What has helped especially is the added income that we received from the village.
Good. Joe?
I'm in favor of doing it, getting it done. And because, when we're back to the millage, we can go to the community and say, hey, look, we took your money, here's what we're gonna do. And this is a pretty good plan, actually. It's a pretty good plan, it's a pretty good design. You know, I don't know if it'll be the exact end thing, but I don't really care. But this is a pretty good plan. It's specific, it has the amounts, and even if we did it down through number 4 to start with, that's still a good idea, but if we have the funding, because we asked for these increases, right? We asked for a 3.31
.31, or
mil
0.13,
increase.
Yes.
Okay,
0.13.
so we
Point
asked,
31, sorry.
now, my guess is this isn't all gonna happen in the next 2 or 3 months. This may be staggered out into the next fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say, let's do it now. Because we're riding a pretty good high on positiveness in the community. I mean, from everything I can tell, our numbers are up. I say, let's get it done. Let's show the community, hey, we didn't just ask for your money to sit on it. Here's what we're doing.
And just for a point of clarity, this money we already have in savings. The money from the millage is to go to continue with, operations, maintenance, and
Yeah.
programming.
Okay,
Just because we have to make
But
sure
we're
that
gonna
that's
need
what
more
that's
than
spent
the-
on.
we're gonna need more than the 220.
Right, which we have in our savings.
220 is in our savings.
We have
We-
more in the savings.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that was only around, we had, the previous board originally, right, previous board, agreed to spending about, was it just about half of what was in our savings?
Yes, ma'am.
So we still have,
Okay.
we were closer to $500,000 for our nest egg.
Well, I would move that we do the whole project.
Is that your official motion?
Well, yeah,
I support.
Okay, let's see the semantics here. Do we need to list a top dollar amount? Do we need to say, based on the director's inputs, give him some leniency somewhere, not to exceed
we're-
something?
I would say not, you got 289,000 sitting down here.
Plus paint.
Plus paint.
Yeah, Yeah, if you add in paint and the circ desk, we're looking closer to 340.
The what?
A new circ desk.
Circulation dust.
If we want to
Oh.
do a new circulation
Yeah.
desk, that wasn't
Oh.
included in this.
Right. So if you put
So
both
can
of
we
those,
do that?
yeah,
Is there a second? Okay, can we do that?
yeah.
I can amend the amendment, a motion.
Motion the amendment, yes.
I move to amend the motion to limit at no more than $350,000.
Okay, and do you amend your second?
I amend my second.
Okay. After you're done writing all that down, Craig, to raise the budget to
Sorry, you're
not
playing secretary.
to not exceed 350.
350,000.
Street fitting, then, we'll call vote whenever you're ready.
All right, the motion to limit,
Oh, and do it all at once, that was the main part of
Yep.
Joe's motion, do it all at once, just one big phase. And
People
Amber has a
are
question?
Really hard to get to this.
Will the pantry still be available to community members during this, if we do everything at once?
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I believe the pantry could still be accessible, there might be, some construction, but I'm sure I'll be here all the time, so I can move the pantry outside during sunny days.
Are we anticipating any closure during?
2 weeks,
During that time? Okay.
is what Kyle said today. I would be happy to make the pantry work during that time.
Yeah. Any more board discussion? All right, then,
All right.
we'll vote when you're ready.
So the motion to do the entire design as presented and to limit the amount spent, $350,000. Motion by Mishler, support by Cole. Ms. Brandon,
Yes,
Mr. Mishler,
Yes.
Ms. Kennard is absent. Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Ms. Cole.
Yes.
All right.
motion carried.
Outstanding.
I feel like we just saw 6 years of work.
I know.
Yes, right?
I know it. Sorry, Tressa wasn't here for that, who by the way was not excused, we make sure to make a note of that.
Who?
Tressa.
Kennard.
We did.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question before we move on?
Yes.
Should have asked this earlier, I think, but does this affect the strategic plan we have, or no?
Still in line with it?
Okay.
Yep, because it's all based on it, and phasing was an option noted before, and we had never said it had to be phased or not phased, so it's still in line with the strategic plan. Let's see, so director and president report, the floor is yours, Mr. Director.
The ARP tax program concluded earlier this month. Very popular service. We saw about 140, 150 people using the service. If you didn't see, there's been shrubbery planted on both sides of the building. And we're also receiving the lawn with clover, slowly but surely. Library design was here and made some progress. We're gonna do a major weeding in May in anticipation of the new model. No unique or local history items will be removed. And all the items to be weeded will be reviewed before their final disposition. The Friends have agreed to conduct a special sale of the items this summer. One of the items in the package today is our next meeting. Due to my incompetence, it falls on Memorial Day.
Oh.
And I don't know if the board still wants to meet on that day or choose another day.
We will not have a quorum.
No.
How about the Monday before it?
I thought we picked
And I
the
have that as
19th.
an item on here if we want to discuss it again. And budget review. I have brought the third quarter, up to the third quarter results to go through you this evening.
You know what? The board already switched it to May 19th.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Yep.
what I had.
So May 19th, our board meeting, it will not be on Memorial Day. Yep, okay, and I'm sorry, what was the next thing?
My son's getting.
Oh, you've seen the budget review.
Yeah, budget review up to the third quarter.
presentation at the Holly Historical Society.
That's awesome.
I wonder if they could change that. Well, one way or the other.
Are there anything in particular you wanted us to note from the budget review, Greg?
Just that this is the end of the third quarter, I wanted this year to do a much better job in keeping the board informed about where we are. Our revenues have increased thanks to the village. And on a side note, both the president and I have stressed to Kyle that with the taxpayers paying for this, we wanted to have the interior of the library done as quickly as we could so that they see some value towards there.
So I have a question about the budget.
Yes.
If it's open. When we went to go for the millage, one of the things we had talked about was making the employees that were full-time, part-time, making them back to full-time. Does
We
this
did that,
reflect
yes,
that? And does that reflect the changes in here?
Yes.
Okay,
We still saved a little bit of money on foot.
just because of the timing of the year?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. We had hoped the original proposal from Nina was to keep, but cap their salaries at $300,000.
okay,
But we will be a bit above that when I bring the reconciliation to you next month.
okay, perfect.
How are we doing on spending our grants, like for, technologies and whatnot?
You'll see, if you wander around the building, new patron computers, 2 new printers. And we're trying real hard to do that.
Right. Joe?
I'm looking at, I don't know what page this is. It's called 740.000.
Page 5.
Is that what that is? Oh,
Yeah.
that's what that 5 means? Yeah. I don't see
I
it
think we
anywhere
both
else.
circled that page.
Okay, all right, I'm looking down through some of these figures, and, I see, like, teen purchases, at this point, they're less than 50% of what's been budgeted,
Correct, and
and adults are,
All of them.
we have this issue, I think, every year. And I'm hooting on our staff to do some more ordering.
Mhm.
One thing I'm wanting to see is when we have the new shelving system, is to have bestsellers up there. So, yes, sir.
So is this a space issue? Is that what you're implying right now?
No, I think it's a matter of get off the duff and order some more books.
Okay. Even replacing well-loved books that are worn, but
Yes.
we need to spend that money before the end of the year.
And our year ends June 30th.
yeah,
Yes.
if it doesn't get spent, then that always brings up a question when you do the budget.
Right.
You
Yeah,
said you
and
needed 12 and you only did 9.
on the tech, we spent about half too, 6 out of 12, where'd it go? I can't find it now.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had it go. I
What-
swear you guys,
what
it's
were you
weird
looking
something. Technology and something.
I've spent about 5,500 to 12,000 so far.
Speaking of getting off your duff and spending some money.
That was by two
What page is that on, Greg? I can't find it.
On the second to the last page.
Is that all?
It's,
There it is, right on the bottom, second to the last page. He spent 5,500 out of 12,000 for hardware, software, and
Jessica
Never
had a great idea. This will be in the teen area
Oh, for
for
her
video
gators,
games.
yeah.
Is that the universal symbol for
Yep.
video games?
It still is.
what other tech do we need?
I was just recommending a smart board instead of a projector screen. You could either do something mounted or mobile,
So you
which would be great for presentations like this,
Yep.
or for when you have, community events, you know, it would just be a little bit more accessible. Typically, they have internet access, like you're hardwired in, it's a touch screen device.
Yep. Used,
HDMI,
smart
if
board.
you wanna hook it
HDMI
on your
computer
computer.
to it.
And I'd like a good projector mounted on the ceiling.
If you had a smart board, you would not have a need for a projector,
That's true.
because it would serve that purpose.
You could aim it over there, maybe over this way.
Right, wherever you have the
It
wall
opens up
space.
this room,
Nice. Well, there you go. That's probably $6,000, right?
easy.
No, I don't think
Probably more.
I think it's been years since I've bought one.
Yeah, I think it's more,
And
but
it's probably.
if it's serving multiple purposes,
Yeah, I'm
You know,
sure
I
you
think
can
it
take
could
from
be really
several
worthwhile.
different lines would probably qualify.
I mean, at
for
this
that.
point, we can take it from
Right.
books, but not that I would ever,
Well,
as
I
a
know.
librarian, suggest that.
I know
I would
that
never.
Holly Area Schools is retiring a lot of technology with their new building going on, so you may be able to strike a deal on something.
Well, I mean, maybe some could come from community promoting because it could be used for that, right?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but, figure it out.
But it's for the community, yep.
Yeah,
It is for the community, you're right.
well,
There
and
you
I
go.
think really whenever you have any need for a projector of any kind or a TV, it could even, be served in that way, like you could do movie nights and utilize that device,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, so if you need to borrow for programming or something, I suppose you could.
yeah, it's a little bit more of a open-ended.
That'll spend up some of that money. And then I have one other question. Okay, Melcat, what's the story?
Melcat is, you know what that is.
Yeah, like that's where we have our, online books. That's what I,
Actually, no, these
Well,
are the
it's a
physical books
shared library
you can
system.
order from.
oh, the
library.
shared library physicals and they
Yeah.
ship them here?
Well, you-
Or we ship them out.
Yeah.
Or we ship them out?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's our consortium.
No,
I don't
Sorry.
understand anything. It's like-
Melcat is, by the state of Michigan,
Michigan Electronic Library.
yes, and allows you to order titles.
It's an electronic
Addition.
library. That's
It's
why
an
I thought it
addition
was.
to our co-op.
They do have
It's an
electronic
additional.
material.
It's an addition to our
Yeah.
co-op.
They have all kinds of stuff.
Okay, so if I remember right, one of our employees' titles is,
Melcat manager.
so what would happen to their position? Is it just a learning curve to learn the new addition to co-op if we went with a different one?
It would come more under circulation, I think. I don't want to, throw the employee under the bus, but I think loss of Melcat would be detrimental for the entire state. You know, people would be
100%.
very
Yeah.
enraged.
But there is something we can do to preserve their management position here.
Is it federally funded?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
from
It's one of the
executive
cut,
ordered,
yeah. But we can join a different co-op that has larger selections
Yeah.
to try to minimize the loss here of just accessibility. Whether it's like TLN, which I have been spouting forever, but,
Yes.
or something more
TLN would
towards,
be my
yeah.
choice.
Okay,
TLN
so,
would be,
just cut right to the chase. What does that network or other networks cost compared to Mel?
well, Mel doesn't cost us in that kind of aspect, but what we pay right now is like $12,000 for our consortium. It would double the amount of books we have, and their last quote for us was $35,000. So
Oh,
it's
that's
double
right,
the
yeah.
price that we're paying, which we would have to pay out of this new revenue, but, I mean, losing Mel would be horrible.
Yeah.
That is just an awful reality if that happens.
The millage did include materials though,
Yes,
Mhm.
so the millage could go towards that
yes.
If needed.
If needed.
if needed.
I would never wanna see Mel gone, but if we are looking for access to books, a larger consortium would be the closest we could get.
Okay,
Wow.
Okay.
all right, so moving
It's
on.
horrible.
Any further questions about the budget?
Well, just to go back to this, can we put this on the agenda for next month?
Do we need to yet, or are we not sure what's going on with Melcat yet?
It's still in court.
I can't really do anything with Melcat. I mean, we can talk about it again. Are you talking about the budget?
Maybe
No.
Melcat
No,
updates.
Okay.
I can get an update, see if there are any updates.
Yeah, get us an update, see what's going on. There's nothing to decide right now, Joe, because it hasn't been officially taken away yet, right?
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
there's a Nestle and 19 other attorney generals are suing.
Okay, so it's in court.
Yep.
All right, so we did that.
Like, we don't need to leave our consortium until we need to.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay, that's it for the update unless there's any other budget questions. All right, and moving on. personnel policy, employees taking college classes, page 15, right before is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. A couple of meetings ago, one of our staff members came up and talked about support for college classes. And I sat and talked with her and talked to other staff members, and they're not actually looking for tuition reimbursement. They're just kind of looking for more time to be able to complete their studies, and not an egregious amount of time. So I ran this by her and by the person, and they were quite happy with it. And what would be is paid time off in relationship to the amount of credits that they're taking. And they would have to apply to the board or to the president to take advantage of this. And if they fail their classes, we're gonna snatch it back from them.
But not out of their, like, out of their future PTO.
No, out of their existing, out of what we granted them.
Okay, so if we were to consider this, I would recommend making a cap, like, so this is, you're saying, if approved, the employee will be granted 8 hours of paid time off per month per semester for each 3 credit class attempted. And then have a cap, not to exceed,
Not to exceed, okay.
not to exceed what? And this is just in theory right now, because we don't
In
even know if
theory,
the
I
board
have
wants to entertain it.
Yeah, I have a lot of issues with this one.
Yeah, I also do. So my other question to follow up on that, is there any requirement of them to utilize the time off and not just bank it because they're getting it? Are they actually, is a scheduled time off throughout that semester? There's a program that we utilize within the school system, and they get release time during their contract hours. So they're getting paid time off, but it's during their regularly scheduled time. And it's not banked time to use later for a vacation or something else. It's related to doing your coursework and being paid for that time off to do it. So
I
that's
think-
what I'm wondering, are they actually, is there going to be a contract of that sort that requires them to, you know, that this time is used for your coursework and it's not banked time?
Right.
And I find that this also could create an issue with the new earned sick time policies that are out there, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this also, it's assuming that they have accrued PTO and enough to cover it. Because this is for any person, once we adopt this, it's not about the actual employee that we all know and love, this is about all future employees.
Right.
So this is assuming that there is accrued PTO, it's also assuming that the library
Hold
can
on a second.
physically
PTO, is that paid?
pay time off.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is also
Thank
assuming that the library can maintain giving however many employees up to a whole week off per month based on their amount of credits they might be taking. So they could be earning far more extra weeks of PTO time.
A full-time college student would be 12 to 15 credits per
Correct.
semester.
Right.
So that would be a whole lot of PTO for a
Which
full-time
then
student.
you are, as the director, still having someone fill their position while they're not here. If it's another full-time employee, we're talking about paying them time and a half.
Mhm.
Budget-wise, I don't know that this library's budget can handle this amount.
Mhm.
I think 1 day a month would be completely reasonable, but basing it on credit hours
Right.
does
Okay.
not
Yeah,
seem to
trying
make
Trying
sense.
to,
I
Go.
think something else might be important here too, maybe it needs a different word besides
I think
PTO.
instead of paid time off, maybe release time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
paid
release time, that way it doesn't fall into any legalities that surround PTO,
Right.
sick
Correct,
time,
yes.
leave, that kind of thing.
And I think I would lean more toward like an hourly stipend on maybe a weekly basis or a monthly basis, like 8 hours per month or 2 hours per week, you know?
They
I find
also,
that
do you
that's-
find, like with the school programs, that they are required then to stay with for so long?
Yes,
Right,
there's
so-
also a contract line that says you would stay with the sponsoring agent, like you're considered a sponsoring agent at that point, for up to a year after the time of taking that class. So with
What
every,
happens if they don't?
if they don't, then they have to reimburse the school, because
Gotcha.
we are paying them.
I feel,
We haven't had
would
to do
object
that
to
yet.
that. I would object to that.
Yeah.
That feels really controlling to me.
Then you can't ask them to pay for your time.
Yeah.
Still, that's the problem, right? Cause they're
Right.
still, the community is paying for their time,
Mhm.
so they owe it to the community to dedicate that.
There has to be some
That's how it's looked at.
contract that keeps the employee with the organization for the time in which that we're paying them to pursue this higher ed.
And this is mostly for things like a library or a school in that case, because they are community funded.
Mhm.
That's not what happens in private
Right,
organizations. Like
exactly.
Google doesn't make you do it that way.
No,
where,
but
you
even
know,
with programs of tuition reimbursement,
mhm.
there are contracts stipulated with tuition reimbursement. If you fail your class, you may have to reimburse the cost of the sponsoring agent.
You
You
know,
know,
wanting
that,
to stay away from tuition reimbursement.
right.
Sure, I mean, and at this point, you know.
Or you could even
community
consider
colleges
just
do
doing a
fine.
stipend based on the credits that they're taking with a contract to submit their grades per semester. And if they fail the class, then the stipend is
Not given.
not given.
Mhm.
And you might have addressed this earlier, or it sparked an idea for me too, because you were talking about only during your regularly scheduled hours. Does that envelop, if I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then I work the whole thing, but then I'm like, oh no, wait, that would be reimbursed pay, never
It
mind.
would be like if your schedule is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, you would have 3 to 5 o'clock on Wednesday as paid release time, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
You would have that release time as part of your regular schedule, so instead of being at work, you're given that gift of time to do your coursework.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Do we know of the current staff, how many of them are going full-time, how many are going part-time, and what does that part-time mean?
I have one full-time and one part-time.
And are we considering, specific degree pathways? Like, are there any stipulations regarding a degree pathway? Because if it's a degree that's going to move you out of your work within the library, that doesn't serve the library in the long run.
That's a good point. I guess I would have assumed library somehow related, which could include business if they were working towards, you know, being a director or the business
Library science degree.
manager. Definitely library science.
I don't
So-
know if business would be, I mean, we don't hire directors necessarily with business degrees, but.
Joe?
Just taking it personally, I taught 38 years, and if the administration came down and said, hey, you're going after this degree, we don't want you to do that, we want you to go after this degree. There might be a war and they're gonna lose.
Mm.
They will lose.
But it also means that they don't have to pay for that degree. They can say no. Like, we could say, you're pursuing a law degree, you're not likely to stay in the library. It's not a degree that's relevant to the work that you're currently doing, or would probably ever do in a library. So we could make that a stipulation, that it has to be related to specific lines of your work, like.
Well, yeah, cause schools wouldn't reimburse you for a
No.
law degree or give you release time to do something
Right.
outside of it. They do if you're pursuing like your master's in reading, or
And we
maybe you're
could be-
doing the administration.
We could have a list of the ones that are like definitely to be
Sure.
approved, and then also say if something else seems relevant, or they come out with a
Open to
new
discussion.
master's in something, that it could be approved by the
Absolutely.
board or director, whichever we would decide if we were
Like U of
considering.
M has a museum studies and archival one, that would
Sure,
make
that would be-
total
yeah.
sense, you know,
Mhm.
things like that.
Joe?
Go back to what I just asked earlier. Are any of these people studying to be librarians or some aspect of libraries?
One is.
Yeah, one is, I don't know about the other one.
Are there grants that you know of that are specific to higher education for librarians?
By university, Wayne
Yeah.
State has several.
Yes.
Okay. So would the other, requirement for this be that they complete a FAFSA?
Create a what?
The FAFSA is the, financial aid, application that most students in college would complete to see if they're, eligible for other areas of funding.
I think I'd like to,
I feel like there's a lot of.
The hard
discussion
part
on
about
this.
this is that it's a policy that goes forward, it's not about the
Right.
people here, it's about
forward.
Right.
future
It's about the
policy.
precedent that we're
Yes.
setting. Well, and I think we all know what the proposer was trying to do here. They're looking for ways
100%.
to, get some kind of a little something, a little bonus, but also not cost us cash. But it does still come down to costing us cash
Cash.
because someone else has to work their shift.
Right.
And I think what I'd like to do is withdraw this completely and then work with individually, so we don't do a round robin.
Mhm.
Oh, I
That's
think we
okay.
can get I think there could be definitely room to grow on this.
Yes.
and
Okay,
come
good.
up with something
Like
for
the,
sure.
the concept
love the
overall to
concept.
support these staff members in
So we'll need a
increasing
motion
education, I'm
to-
definitely for
is
that.
it-
I think we
is
need
it
to
table?
discuss further.
Yes, I believe the table.
I move we table this motion
All right,
for this
item.
plan.
Second,
Motion by Mishler, second by Padilla to table it. Until,
TBD,
until TBD.
I'll work with you folks.
So technically, on the table of motion,
There has to be a date.
there's, not the next meeting, if you
It
wanna
has to
bring
be
it
the
back
next
up,
meeting.
there has to be a motion to
bring
put
it
it back
again.
on the table.
Mhm.
So, but if you don't get a motion to put it back on the table, it stays on the table.
Okay, so we don't have to have a date.
No, it'll be like old business,
The
right?
only time you have
Okay.
to, the only time for the next meeting is if someone says, let's put it back on the table, and that motion carries, then it's back on the table.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Brandon,
Yes.
Mr. Mishler,
Yes.
Ms. Kennard is absent, Ms. Padilla,
Yes.
Ms. Benedict,
Yes.
Ms. Cole,
Yes.
okay.
Motion carried. Item tabled. We already did the change of date for the May meeting. And board member and public comments. Any public comment?
They
A
left.
lot of no's. We lost our audience. What'd you do, Tina?
It was
Lord.
nice, it was nice they were concerned about the funding.
Yeah,
Yes,
Both,
that was
uh,
very nice.
Both the Pistons and the Tigers are playing, if they could have it back.
I think we need to mic Greg and have a speaker, because I heard several times that it was difficult to hear.
okay.
We need more mics.
Great, that
Tech.
tech money,
I
we
heard-
need 2 more
I
mics.
heard him.
Better mics and speakers.
Do we have 2 more plugins for 2 more mics?
We have 2 more mics.
Okay, we don't have 2 more plugins to.
We have 2 more
There
mics.
should be a microphone at the podium, because every public meeting I've gone to, there's a microphone at the podium.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know the village has them, the school district has them, I don't know how it should.
We're frugal. What's that, Tina?
You need to speak into the mic. You're the only one doing that.
I liked it when I heard my voice on the mic earlier.
Yeah, so
phone.
nice and loud.
Yeah.
I was trying to speak into it.
All right,
It's-
Greg, do you have any final closing comments?
No, just other than to thank the board, as always, for their help, guidance, and great thoughts.
Thanks for all your hard work with Kyle. Joe?
I have a question. Can anybody, can anybody recommend a book? They can, can't they? So if I brought in a list, okay. Okay. If you're interested and you want a very funny evening, I am directing the Red Velvet Cake Wars at Clarkston Village Players. It's 8 women, starts this Friday, runs 3 weekends. You have to call our ticket line, which I don't know the number, but you have to call it. And it's really, it's a hysterical play.
Did you say that was at Fenton or Clarkston?
Clarkston Village
Clarkston.
Players. We are at Dixie and White Lake, and we are right by the railroad tracks, right? But if you go past it, over the tracks, you have missed us. So there's that.
Would you say that it's a family-friendly show or teen-friendly, perhaps?
I would say teen
Mostly
friendly.
teen-friendly.
Yeah, a lot of little kids,
There might be a comment or two that the teens will really enjoy.
it's a crazy thing,
Yeah.
there's one woman who tried to kill her husband, got off with it. There's, another woman whose husband's been gone for 7 years, she's trying to get him declared dead. And then there's a aunt or cousin who hates all of them, and there's a vet maid who can make the best red velvet cake.
No spoilers.
And the only people getting any action are the 90-year-old man and woman.
Oh, boy.
They seem to be Baby Doll and Aubrey. And it's really a lot of fun. We're just about done. We got one more dress rehearsal. So it's a good evening, good fun evening.
Amber?
I am really excited about the redesign of the library. I'm really looking forward to it. I actually, when we lived in Virginia, our library actually underwent a major renovation, and it really speaks to how important libraries are in our communities. So I think it's a really exciting thing to come. We did not meet in March, but I did have a comment about the website and hopes to sync it up with the renovation that we're doing here, and maybe the website too would sort of match that aesthetic. It's a great website. I was just wondering if maybe it could also have a little bit of a facelift to kind of match the facelift that the building will have as well.
Great idea. Do we have any spare money on communications?
Yep.
We can,
We could take out an ad
we could.
in the Tri-County.
Well, Tri-County's the way to go. It's a
The
real
Education
paper.
Foundation just did, they took out a whole page ad.
Mhm.
It was 600 and, I don't know how many dollars, $650? We had a lot of feedback,
Nice.
so, cause anyway, it could be all about the library, or it could be all about whatever.
We have a monthly ad to Tri-County.
Oh, do we?
Perfect.
Never seen it.
Was that all, Amber? Cassandra?
I am also really excited about the library redesign. Being a longtime resident within walking distance of the library, I've watched both my kids grow up in this building
Right.
and spent many hours in here throughout my college years. And now again with my master's. So I'm very excited about that. One thing that wasn't mentioned that I'm interested in is signage. I'm sure that'll be part of like the doodad type stuff, like with the
Do you mean
lamps.
outside?
I'm talking about the signage within
Oh,
the
okay.
building as well. If we had any thoughts about updating the
Yeah.
signage to really fit the new aesthetic of the building, to make sure that it's really accessible. We could also consider adding braille, which I don't know that we have anywhere in the building. So accessibility being important within our scope of redesign. And then I'm also excited to work a little bit more closely with you all about this possible release time. I think that's really important to see people furthering their education and reaching their goals, and that's one thing that I love doing in my personal life and in my work. So excited to work with you all.
Yeah. Great idea. Do we have a braille collection, Tina?
No, we do not.
Okay.
We have,
I wonder if there's a need for one.
We do have a deafblind citizen in the area, so perhaps if they knew there were accessible options available.
I think we need to put some thought into this.
we do have the Oakland County talking books, which I have authorized for one of our patrons here, and also a patron that is at the Hampton Manor, the assisted living. So it is available. I think that Braille books, may also be available through Mel. I have not had any, I've been here 7+ years, I think. I've not had anyone ask for a Braille book.
I know with technology, there's a lot of great options for reading with
Mhm.
Braille, like, there's Braille machines now that can read you a book, and you would just, like it will pass, it's amazing to watch. So there's a lot of options out there.
Oh, and maybe the way to keep it affordable is Melcat or consortium.
More consortium,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one more question on signage, keeping it with the flow with the new book would be important. I know we have talked about the marquee outside in the past, and I wanna say that was one of those individual expenses of like 50 grand or something, wasn't it?
It was pricey, yeah.
Yeah, cause we were talking, if we were getting a new sign, it would be digital, thank you, yeah, like go big or why bother, kind of thing.
Right.
So, that is something that we can look at too in the future if you like. Shannon?
I agree, I'm super excited about finally seeing like us moving forward with this. I know you guys are new on the board, but it's been a long time coming with everything. It's time to see us like break ground and do something, so I am super excited about that. Yeah, I think we're doing all right. It's good to see things moving in the library. If we lose Mel, it's a horrific thing, and cutting library funding and anything in education right now is a horrific act, so hopefully things work out.
I just would like to say one thing. I didn't say it, but I did make the motion to go ahead with this project because I too was it's time to get things done. Quit setting on it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that the staff has had a lot of input. That's great.
Yes, we value all of their input, like, they've been great.
Except me in paint colors.
Bragg is colored.
When would it be appropriate to start soliciting painters? If you wanna put something together, I can share it and get some people to
Certainly,
you.
I'll work with Kyle to
Perfect.
pull that money out of savings and everybody else.
I've got nothing. I'm just so damn proud to be a part of this. This meeting is adjourned.